Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Esper Tempo Control. That's right, we get all the amazing removal in white, combined with the powerful black creature Psychic Frog, Barrowgoyf, Orcish Bowmasters, and of course we have some classics like Murktide and Tamiyo. And this is Tempo, so we do have 4 days, 4 Wasteland. We also have 3 Thoughtseize. This card is really, really good right now against a combo heavy meta, and even against a lot of decks like Painter, Eldrazi. You can like strip their action and lead them with a whole bunch of mana, because these aggro decks today are really mana intensive. Something like half of the cards in Eldrazi, in Painter, or in Moon Stompy are like mana focused cards like Moxen and stuff like that. And if you can just take their one threat, take their one ring, take their Glistening Fleshraker, something like that, you can really slow their roll quite a bit. And then all we need to do is slow the roll for a little bit until Psychic Frog can take over or Murktide can explode. And this card is hard to remove. Almost everybody is just playing Kozilek's Command or Fatal Push as their removal. And it is exceedingly difficult to get rid of Murktide with a Kozilek's Command, and it's impossible with a Fatal Push. So if you're up against a blue-black tempo deck, which is currently the most commonly played deck in Legacy, I believe, you are likely to... There are probably only 2 or 3 cards that can remove this in their entire deck. So it's a very strong threat, and even against control decks, if they stabilize, boom. And of course, with Thoughtseize, just check their hand for removal, then jam. So we should be checking people's hands for removal and jamming. I'm excited to play Barrowgoyf main deck. This list is heavily inspired by Hammafist, like Hammer Fist, but with a hammer. Don't hurt them, hammer. And it's based closely off of that person's list. However, I've made just a few like minor modifications. I split the Graveyard Hate, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Surgical. I think Surgical is really good when you have Thoughtseize in the deck because you can incidentally just nug additional cards. We are not able to play Harbinger of the Tide, which is kind of concerning because we are a 3-color deck. And if you look, we do have a basic island and we have a basic plains in the sideboard. But, you know, we don't want to shut off like half of our threats with the Harbinger. We want to win through other means. So in terms of winning through other means, against combo decks, I've thrown in a Null Rod. I think it's really good right now. I've thrown in a Serenity. I think it's really good right now. I've got a single Force Negation because there are a lot of turn 0 combo decks out there. We've got 3 Hydroblasts to respect Moon Stompy and Painter. And, of course, we've got an additional Prismatic Ending. This is really good against tempo decks. This can exile a flip Tamiyo, no problem. Can exile Nethergoyfs, which is really strong because Nethergoyf, one of the great things about Nethergoyf is it keeps coming back mid and late game. Well, not if it's exiled. So this should be a fun league. I'm not sure if this is going to be as mid-rangey as Stoneblade, which is what I've been jamming lately. There should be a video up on YouTube of like, I think 9 rounds of me playing in the Showcase Challenge with Stoneblade. But Esper is definitely like the strongest color combination outside of just pure blue-black right now. And I think that we should explore it a little bit more. So this should be a fun league. I'll see you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against Bozo0388, who plays a broad array of decks, usually control decks. I think this is fine. I like the double plow. If they go for like an early frog or something, this will be good. I think we keep it. We've got access to all our colors. We're on the play, which is nice. They could be playing Stifle Knot. They've played a lot of Stifle Knot lately. I think I'm just going to fetch an island and ponder. You might be asking, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for action. They're mulling to 5. That makes me think I should be looking for Force of Will. We're not set up to force anything, unfortunately. I think Island into Thoughtseize would be good if we can find a Thoughtseize. Because if they're Beanstalk, that's going to break up their Beanstalk. If they are on... Maybe we don't even fetch... Maybe we just go ahead and float this out there. We've got lots of land. Our... Barrowgoyf is aspirational. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that we don't know what they're on. I probably should have just did a Surveil land rather than doing this play. But these are good cards. I'm going to take the Brainstorm. I'll hide the Bowmasters, and we'll see which of these cards are actually good. There's a good chance that we're going to be shuffling away the Swords to Plowshares if they're not on a creature deck. But I'm pretty good at identifying opposing decks just by like fetches and stuff like that. We'll see how quickly I can put them on a deck. Don't be jealous. Vexing Bauble. Okay, so this gives me Painter vibes, but this could be Karnforge. And those are very different decks, but I think Bowmaster is good against both of them. I think we tuck the Barrowgoyf for now. Maybe tuck one of the plows. Thoughtseize is great. I'm going to put back... Maybe I'll just put back land. I got a lot of land off that. I'm just going to go fetch another Underground Sea, and I'm going to Thoughtseize them. And they're going to think that I'm blue-black tempo, but I actually have an extra color. Thoughtseize here. One ring. See, this is what I was saying in the deck tech. Like, if you can take away their action, it's so good. All right, so their hand is currently a bunch of mana. Hopefully they don't draw into anything good here. Oh no, they shocked it in. We got some action here. Rabblemaster is not bad. I can deal with that. I can't deal with the first attack, but I can clean up with Bowmasters. Right? Blood Moon is something we should be concerned with. However, if we can get through this turn cycle... Oh, there's the island. We don't need to worry about Blood Moon anymore. I'm just going to go get a plow. I'm going to plow this. Or I'm going to get a Tundra. So every single land in this deck that is not a wasteland is a blue source. I think it's very important. Hammafist had a... I can just surprise with Orcish Bowmasters. Next turn Barrowgoyf should come down and it will be a 4/5, which is quite big. I don't know if they have a way to remove it. They won't be able to Fury it. Sundering Eruption, targeting that. Destroy, search of basic land. Well, that sucks. I don't have a basic. My basic is in my hand. I am going to go ahead and Bowmaster with him here. There's no reason to take damage. I'll just hit that. So this plow is going to kind of run in my hand for a turn, but Barrowgoyf should be pretty... Well, never mind. I still think Barrowgoyf is the play here. I'm going to attack first. I feel like we definitely are going to win this. I don't feel a lot of concern here. Barrowgoyf is a unit. And we have Plow for whatever their follow-up is. If they have like some scary creature. Pyrogoyf would be bad, obviously, but Pyrogoyf is actually not going to be able to kill Barrowgoyf. They concede. We got the first game of the league. Let's go to sideboarding. So sideboarding, I'm going to bring in those blasts. I do think it's probably worth bringing in Consign. Just because, I mean, Consign does hit a lot of stuff. I think we bring in our second basic. That's what it's here for. I'm just going to cut... I mean, it's pretty fast. Maybe we don't even want the Undercity Sewers. I'm not sure what you cut in these circumstances. Maybe we cut a Wasteland. I'm not sure that we're going to be wasting them. That might be wrong. Daze is bad on the draw against them, so that's an easy cut. Force Negation is good. Hydroblast, good. Prismatic Ending, not terrible. I don't know that this is a Serenity matchup. It's not an Null Rod matchup. Man, I do want to fit Consign in because we saw the One Ring. Consign can stop like lots of triggers too. But, we could cut the negation, but I'm really afraid that they just open with, maybe we cut the Bowmasters. No, I think I'm going to cut Thoughtseize on the draw because they're going to be doing they're going to be pressuring us a lot and we don't want to be like paying life. Okay, MTGO is doing some funky stuff. Please, you see that little spinner donut thing? Come back. I need to submit my sideboard. I'm just going to think while it's tripping out here. Hopefully I can submit. Okay, it looks like it's back. Okay, good. I was freaking out. I don't want to cut the Wasteland if I can avoid it. I'm just going to cut... I think I will... Yeah, I mean, it seems good. I think I'll cut a Tundra. Yeah. And now we just have the same number of white sources. We've got one fewer blue source. And I'll cut a Bowmasters. I don't think Bowmasters is great in this matchup. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I don't think we're going to regret any of these cuts. Let's jump to it. So Psychic Frog is still extremely good against them. The reason I brought in the Prismatic Ending is because if they Chalice or Vexing Bauble, I do want to be able to answer that. This hand has Frog. It has Force. I think this is a snap keep. I'm just going to wait a second. I don't want them to... And the fact that it has a basic island is great. Now, we don't actually have anything we can do if they turn 1 Blood Moon with that island. We probably just need to force the Blood Moon. Murktide Regent is very strong if it comes down later. They're probably playing Blast. I think Pyroblast. Okay. Comes into play tapped. I like to see it. All right. Double Force hand. So good. If I float this island out there, it may actually deter them from playing Blood Moon, which I would prefer if they prioritize other things, because I've got other things covered. I don't really want to... Well, it doesn't really matter. I will burn a Force. I'm going to definitely pitch Murktide when I force. Okay, 3 mana. Do your worst, Lelia. I think we force this. As we established, they don't have just like a ton of action in their deck. The deck has a lot of air. Now, if I draw a blue card, I can definitely Frog. And I might want to Frog anyway. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to Frog here. I'll go ahead and attack first. Create a clue. Next turn, we're going to flip Tamio. We can buy that back to Force. We're probably not going to try to go upstairs with Tamio too much. Black, blue, Frog. And now we have Force back up, and we're going to just settle in and start drawing some cards. We don't need to cast anything next turn. Is this One Ring? They may Pyro this. Oh, wow. That's very good for us. Okay. I think we can probably pitch the Prismatic Ending here. Wasteland on Ancient Tomb seems pretty strong. Oh, no. Wasteland, the red source. That seems solid. Now they don't have red. Let's go ahead and attack with both. I am going to go ahead and pitch here. I don't know that that'll be relevant. Maybe it will. We get a card draw. I guess did we already do the damage? Yeah, we did. So there's no point in me drawing first. I was thinking maybe I should draw first. I am going to go ahead and draw and flip Tamio here. I could flip her with Brainstorm. This is just more efficient use of clues. And now I can't immediately regrow. Oh, holy cow. We drew Force Negation. That's so good for us. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, we'll just pass. And we can stop a Fury if that's what they're going to try to do to mop up. Well, okay, so they're going to burn through their... Yeah, we just had all the right cards and they didn't have the right cards here. I feel incredibly lucky. I'm going to stop this. This is a card that can kind of help them pull back in. Okay, and they scooped. We got it. That was a very clean victory over Moon Stompy. Let's jump to round 2. Round 2, we are up against Reanimator. We knew it was going to happen sooner or later. At least we're on the draw. Seems solid. I like Barrowgoyf. We have the lands to cast Barrowgoyf. We have an opener, Tamio. We have Daze. I think we keep this. So my strategy here is going to be lead with the Underground Seas, and then we can go fetch the Tundra if we need to. I think we have 3 Tundras in the deck, so we've got lots. They're not going to be able to waste us off our colors easily. I love opening Tamio. She's just so good. Our opponent may have a Force of Will. That would explain why they're thinking so hard about this. Wow. They really don't want to deal with Tamio. We could just take the 2-for-1. I think we do. I don't want to go off Daze. What could they do that's explosive turn 1? Why are they countering this? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, well, deal. I will come in with my Bowmasters next turn. They pitched a Daze for that. Yeah, I think Daze is going to be useful in this matchup. Oh, wow. Explosive. Okay. So I think what they're going to probably do is like an Entomb Reanimate hand. What is this? Brainstorm's fun. I mean, like the only time I see Lotus Petal is generally... Let's see. Are they playing Lotus Petal in this list? It's a list from a few days ago. Yeah, they were playing 4 Lotus Petal. It's like a Turbo Reanimator. It does have Daze and Force, but it doesn't have Wasteland. So we can be very willy-nilly with our lands. Okay. So they're passing. I like Bowmastering them here, surprising them. There's no reason not to just get our colors or get a Surveillant if we want to. If they don't do anything, I'm not going to Bowmasters. I don't want to pressure them unnecessarily. Barrowgoyf, well, I think we can chill. We don't have any white mana. We don't have any need to get the land. I'll just keep up the option for surveilling. Most likely I'm not going to surveil this turn. Okay, if they just pass, I may Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, they're not just passing. There's an Underground Sea. Reanimating my Tamiyo. I don't know that this is going to work out the way you want it to. By all means, I think this is a bad play. Because the moment they flip her, I'm going to get her back. I do think I'm going to go ahead and ping them. Just be efficient with my mana. They did pitch a Daze earlier. If they trade a Daze for this, I think it's okay. They can block one of the tokens, but they're not going to be able to use Tamiyo really. Again, if she, I'm not even going to kill my Tamiyo. I kind of think I'm just going to jam a Barrowgoyf here. That could be a mistake, because then they could be able to Daze, but I'm pretty sure if they had Daze, they would have used it. So they would have to draw Daze. That's fine. So take one. I think we just be efficient and get Barrowgoyf out. It should make pretty quick work of them. It's a 3/4 currently. I will show them that I have Tundra now that I have drawn Prismatic Ending. This could be a mistake though, because if they have, Force is going to pitch Daze unless they just put something that's Dazeable on the stack. There's another land. I don't think they want land at this point. Okay, so they are opting to take the clue over preserving their life total, because they could have deferred, and there's not an immediate use for any of these. If they crack clues, they're going to take damage. Yeah, and now we... another blue card would be insane. Yeah, we'll take this. I'm just going to attack with everything. I could put a sorcery in and do more damage, but I don't think it's that big a deal. See if we can flip something good here. Nothing good. Well, they're at 9. We've got lots of interaction up. They're fetching to 8. They're pretty quickly going to get out of reanimated territory. Even like an Archon is not necessarily game winning here, but they do have like Volgarath, or what is his name? Volgavoth. Very scary card. Ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. It's just brutal. We could get around that by sacrificing like our creatures, but that wouldn't be fun. All right, so we're just going to hit them. And they're dead on board basically. Now they cracked that. Or I guess they put that in their graveyard. They're not... Yeah, they are dead on board. Yeah, they conceded. Okay, that felt good. They're probably wondering what the Tundra is for. But maybe... I don't know. Like, we definitely look like blue-black tempo. Just that Tundra. Okay, so we do have 4 anti-graveyard cards that are coming in. Surgicals. Grafdigger's Cage. We don't need to respect... Yeah, they're probably playing stuff that can be prismatic ended. Obviously, they're playing like Mox or Lotus Petals and stuff, but those aren't a high priority. I might pull these. Let's take a look at their list. None of this stuff is really relevant for us. Harbinger could matter, but I'd be surprised if they brought it in. Show and Tell, that's like a pretty big deal. I think we probably bring in Force Negation just as a hedge against Show and Tell, because that would be game ending. Yeah, so in terms of monsters, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they've got more monsters than normal. They're much more... are they even playing Frog? They're not playing Frog. Holy cow. No, wait, they are. They are. Okay. You would be crazy not to play Frog. Their land count is super freaking greedy. But they are playing 3 Trolls. I think we may be able to waste them out of the game. Yeah, I'm going to bring in Force. Okay, so what are we taking out? I think we take out these Prismatic Endings. They're likely only going to hit Frog, and it's not that big of a priority. Like we have other stuff to interact with Frog. I like having the Thoughtseize just because we're likely able to strip one of their enablers. I'm tempted to cut the basic island. They don't have Wasteland. Bowmasters is not terrible against them. It gives us permanence to sack to the ward. Trying to think if there's anything else we should do here. Not going to pull out any dazes. We could. I don't think we go lighter on plow. It's just too good. We have to make two cuts. Maybe we cut one Bowmasters. They don't have anything to ping. They're not even playing Brazen Borrower, I don't think. They do have one Brazen Borrower. I'll cut it, and then I will cut one Thoughtseize on the draw, I think is fine. Oh, is that right? There's no way that's right. I think I'll cut a surgical. That must be crazy. Submit. Okay, I think it made it in. Yeah, the reason I cut the surgical is I think they're likely to do the show and tell route. Because they're going to think like, oh, they're going to bring in all their graveyard hate, so I'll bring in show and tell. We'll see whether this submission works. I'll be upset if it doesn't. There's been a lot of lag lately in MTG. Okay, submission received. All right, so this is a great hand. I like the daze. We don't have a force, though. I think waste is really good. Murktide is not a good active like usage card. I don't like the fact that this comes in. I'm going to shuffle this. Grafdigger's Cage is insane. The mono wasteland with the Force of Will, like basically we just have to force Frog. And if we turn one resolve Grafdigger's Cage, we're in a very strong position. They could fetch basics, which would be embarrassing. Thoughtseize is really good if we find a blue-black land. I think I'm going to put back one of the wastelands. Let's take a look at their mana base. They have one swamp, they have one island. They're almost certainly going to be fetching those against our tempo deck. So I do think we can put back one of the wastelands. So I don't think they're going to have a turn one combo, but if they do, they're going to have a protection for it. If they frog, I'll force it. That's fine. Turn one brainstorm. Never like a strong play unless you definitely have like a troll to cycle. Because I like to cast like the turn 5, turn 6 brainstorm and put back chaff that's filled up my hand. Excess lands and things like that. All I know is I think turn 1 we just go ahead and waste them. They have an extremely greedy mana base and we want to capitalize on that. All right. I'm not going to snap off the second waste until I get the cage down. Okay, wow. That is paying off. Land. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to show them the wasteland. I'm just going to go get an underground sea here. It's actually probably better to go ahead and Thoughtseize them now. They're less likely to be able to interact. And I just want to see what's likely coming up because then we can prioritize the next few turns. Okay, so show and tell, Emrakul, they do have a daze. I think the play is take Ponder because that's what helps them draw into their next land. Once we put out Grafdigger's Cage, we can ignore the Reanimate. Yeah, I'm going to take the Ponder. That way, it's just going to be harder for them to draw into action. And next turn, we will Grafdigger's Cage and play a Wasteland. I would love to draw a land, actually. I may Brainstorm. I was just talking about how it's great to brainstorm late. Well, now I'm like heavily incentivized to brainstorm. They don't have daze protection. I'm just going to go for it. Surgical is fine. We don't need both Surgical and Grafdigger's Cage. I think Surgical is less reliable since they have daze. I don't need this. We don't need all these lands. I'm going to put this Tundra back. And I think we probably part with the Surgical. And then what we can do is we can shuffle. And we can play the Cage. And I'm just going to get that down now. Grab a Tundra. Next turn we'll have a daze protected Bowmaster. And we just have to stop them from getting to 3 mana. If they get to 3 mana, we're in trouble with that show and tell. They're discarding a Reanimate. Interesting that they discard Reanimate instead of, but I guess because they're going to, yeah, Reanimate is dead. Never mind. It's not interesting. They're just, oh, great. So this is where holding the Brainstorm would have been good, but we would have not drawn that had we held the Brainstorm. So I'm just going to pass. End step, I'll Bowmasters them. We're going to have to deal a lot of damage quickly because if this comes down, this is like really problematic. They don't have the land. Right? This is what you get for playing 14 freaking lands, dude. I'm sorry, but like that is supremely greedy. Let's see what they discard here. Okay, Metamorphosis Fanatic, another good card to discard. Delta does give us a Surveil land. I think it's worth playing out. I'm just going to attack. We'll Surveil in the end step. We are pretty close to Hardcast Force, which is not good because they have days, but like who knows? Maybe we get up to 6 lands. I think that's probably aspirational. Okay, they did find a land. This is going to get a basic. I'm going to Surveil. Now I feel kind of dumb for taking the Ponder because it would hurt them to Ponder, but actually it's probably still the correct take. This is a blue card. I think we need to do damage. That may be wrong. Bowmasters. I'm just going to do it now. Get some extra damage off of the Orc army. Yeah, Bowmasters is still a clock, even if it's a very slow one. We're going to do 3. They're going to drop to 13. They're going to fetch down to 12. And they're 3 turns from death. I'm going to hold the Grafdigger's Cage. I just think it's more likely that we're able to brainstorm it back than play it out. And also if they have something like double days, I want to be able to interact. They didn't get a Surveil land, which would have just gotten wasted. So I think they're just going to wait and organically try to hit like several consecutive lands or Lotus Petal. Discarding Volgaroth. I'm happy to see that. Their plan is to put Emrakul. Another Wasteland. I'm going to play it out so we have Hardcast Force. It's not good because of their days, but like, yeah. I don't know. If we draw another land, then we'll definitely want to have double Hardcast Force up. I think that'll be good. 2 turns from death. That's it. Wow. 2-0. This is like the fastest 2-0 I think I've gotten in a long time. All right. I'll see you in round 3. Round 3. We are 2-0. We're up against an unknown opponent with a Force of Will hand. I think we keep this just because we can chill, figure out what they're doing. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. We're on the play again too, which is crazy. Like 3 on the play. Odds of that are, 3 coin flips in a row. I think it's like 1 in 6, 1 in 8. Right. I'm just going to open with the Undercity Sewer. This could give some information away about what our deck does. I'm going to keep that. That's action. I just didn't want to draw yet another land. Hopefully they don't do something that requires me to daze immediately because I don't want to daze this back. Cavern, that sucks. Merfolk, okay. Mistcaller, that's fine. That's a good sideboard card, but it's not good against our deck. Let's see. Non-token creature would enter and it wasn't cast. Exile it. Yeah. Well, guess what? We have a very powerful card in Bowmasters that is going to make very short work of your Mistcaller. Do I want to keep... I think it's worth it to go ahead and waste them. Yeah, I'm going to waste and take 1. And if they do like something... Yeah, I just want to get this off the table. Kind of sucks that my days is going to be bad, but Cavern can be really devastating. Well, some people don't play their land before they attack. I always do. Okay, they did have a land. They do have a second creature. Tide Shaper. Okay, they can't kick it. So I do control an island. So what I can do is I can block ping. I think that's okay. I don't really care about this Mistcaller, but this can be... I mean, it's bigger, obviously. I think I'm just going to chill. I've got days up. If they attempt to do the like Lord of Atlantis or something, then I will attempt to force it. I'll probably actually just float blue and Bowmasters. I don't know if whether modern, or it's not modern, but like contemporary Merfolk even plays days. Okay, it is 4% of the meta. Let's just take a look at these real quick. Nope, no days. Flare Denial, maybe. I mean, I have this, like I've got all the beta islands. I've got like 13 beta islands, so I could play this. It doesn't even play that many, but yeah, like I got the Island Sea art, my favorite island art. They shocked themselves to do that. So, but I don't think they're likely to play Daze. I'm just going to hit the Tide Shaper. Are they going to keep this back? Well, that works out for me. Let's go ahead and just black, blue, Bowmaster, ping here. I'm just going to block. It doesn't have Island Walk. It just gets +1/+1 if I control an island, which I'm always going to control an island. Every non-wasteland in my deck is an island. So structurally, I'm kind of unfavored against this deck just on that basis. Let's see if they try to do anything. They're not. Let's block here. I don't have any illusion of my Bowmaster being good, but it does. Okay, here they go. What is this? Hex Catcher? Well, I'm going to attempt to daze this. Let's bounce this island back to hand. If they force, I'll force back. Okay, that's great. All right. I actually don't think they play very many cards that draw them cards. They're not playing Brainstorm. A lot of times they won't even play the creature that like draws a card. Silvergill Adept, like one of these lists isn't playing it. So I'm not sure whether I should. I think I'm probably not the beatdown, is my thinking. So I probably do want to hang back. Psychic Frog is insane against this deck that doesn't have very much removal. I think I'm just going to jam that. Yeah, like their deck basically doesn't have removal. I guess I could have attacked with Bowmasters just to force a trade, because this card does get stronger if they cast like a Lord of Atlantis. I'll force True Name Nemesis so fast. Okay. I think I'm going to attack with both. Another Psychic Frog. Yeah, it's like basically a free attack to attack with the Bowmasters if they block. I don't think they'll. I think there's a decent chance they don't block anything here. Merfolk's Trickster. Target creature an opponent controls that loses all abilities until the end of the turn. Do we really want to spend a force on this? But like they are going to shut this off. I think I am going to force it. Maybe that's crazy. But I want to get my free card. And assuming they're not going to interact. If they interact, they go down to 1. Okay, so now what I can do is I'm just going to fly because I want to draw the card for sure. And I think I can discard a card here and make it bigger. Just do a little extra damage. Because I don't need all these cards. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards. But doing damage, like we're very clearly like the beatdown deck here. So we get a card. They're not blocking. This is great. Ponder is okay. I could ponder first. See whether I find a daze. That would be good. Another Bowmaster is totally fine. And I actually kind of want to just deploy the Bowmaster and hit that Mistcaller now. I don't want the force at all. I don't want this strand. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And I'll just hit their Mistcaller now. And my goal is to tempo them out. On that note, it may be smarter to deploy the second frog if I want to tempo them out. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll just hold back the Bowmaster for next turn. It's possible that it's no longer eligible for a snipe next turn. It's also possible they play Hull Breacher, which is really good against Psychic Frog, because it stops me from being able to draw. I'm not worried about them wasting one of our lands. I actually hope that they do it because I just don't care. Like I've cast most of the spells I need to cast this game. What is in their hand? They must have another instant speed Trickster or something. Surely they're not considering attacking. All right. Also, it's worth noting that they can sacrifice this with the Bowmaster ping on the stack. So Bowmaster ping isn't as good as you would hope it would be. They're thinking about doing something in my upkeep here. Okay. Well, I think I'm just going to attack all and see what they do. I can fly the bigger frog. What does this do? Let's see. It loses all abilities until the end of the turn. Okay, what's this do? When Flood Pit Drowner, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Okay, so you want to stun one of my creatures. That's fine. And it does not have haste. So this is kind of like a janky removal spell in blue. Blue should never have good removal. That's fine. I'm glad they did this before I started flying because I'm going to fly with this instead. Let's go ahead and attack with these. And then I'm going to go ahead and exile 3 cards here to guarantee that I get the card. I do want that card. They're going to play a different card. Maybe not. They're going down to 1 card in hand. Voldovian Hexcatcher. Other Merfolk get +1/+1. Well, I think I'm going to ping that instead. Yeah, it seems good. This counter target non-creature spell. Well, guess who's a creature? I'm just going to go ahead and pew, pew. Let's hit the Hexcatcher. Now they can do the Flood Pit Drowner on us if they want to. I don't really want this land. I'm going to pitch it. I'm just going to max damage. They can block this if they want, but it's not a good block. This should be like an extremely bad matchup for us. And yet we're doing okay. Bowmasters has been absolutely clutch here. So we could, I think we just hold the Tundra. There's no reason to play it out. I'm not worried about Wasteland. Again, I feel like we can win with the material that we have on the table. If they activate this and they're basically putting away one of our creatures, which is okay, which I'm okay with. The main thing is I just need to have at least 1 frog on the table. I will float a blue. They actually don't know that we're playing white at this point, so it made sense to flip black there to make them think we had Fatal Push. They had a land for turn. That's bad for them. Lord of Atlantis is good. It's a good card. I mean, it buffs their squad. Their creatures get Island Walk, but we're very much the aggressor here with our Psychic Frogs. Okay, so I'll lose my mana. We're going to go to... These have Island Walk, so they should attack. So they're going to hit for 5. So this has Vigilance. It can still take out our Frog if they want to. They have no cards left in hand, so it's basically these cards. This doesn't actually have Island Walk, so we can double block. Yeah, I think they're going to do it. They're going to... Yeah, that is okay. So I still have a frog. Ponder seems good. I'm going to ponder, and I'm going to be looking for a plow. These are not good cards. Brainstorm's not bad by any means, but I really want a plow. Wasteland, I don't think is good. I think we're better off just pitching it and doing more damage. I'm just going to attack with frog because the other cards... And we don't have to fly this turn because they'd be crazy to block this. I am going to discard this Wasteland. If I can rip a plow, I'll still happily plow. Tamiyo. I don't think Tamiyo's bad. I am going to continue to hold this Tundra just because I want the surprise factor. I don't want them to know I'm playing white for game 2. If they attack with Lord of Atlantis, I'm going to snap block it. Okay. I'll take 2. What did they draw? Something with flash? They do have a lot of creatures with flash in their deck. Thoughtseize would... If they have a creature with flash, Thoughtseize is not a good card to cast. I'm going to go ahead and do this and create a clue. And I can flip Tamiyo, which will be pretty good here. They're not blocking, so we get a draw trigger. It's hard for me to imagine a card they would have held there. So they are going to be able to attack into Tamiyo, but they're only going to do 1. Now we have Force Up. I'm going to plus here. Unfortunately, because they have the caverns, we're not going to be able to do anything. Yeah, I'm not sure what they would have held here. I'll just chill. They're going to be incentivized to attack into Tamiyo here. Yeah, they didn't have any instant speed and step stuff. Maybe they drew a force. Okay, great. So we're up a game in round 3. We haven't lost a single game this entire league, which feels good. This list feels tight. I love having the Bowmasters back. They've been so relevant in all 3 of the matches, I think. Okay, so we don't really have any... Well, I mean, Consign's pretty good, I think. I think basic plains is good. If they're going to be pressuring our land, they're probably going to bring in they might bring in Harbinger of the Tide. I mean, it is a Merfolk. It's pretty janky and bad against us, but, you know. Cards that come out, I think Daze is really bad on the draw, considering they're playing Cavern. But what does that mean we bring in? There's not anything to bring in here. So I guess we leave 2 of the Dazes. Yeah. We don't have a great sideboard plan against Merfolk. Like, Thoughtseize is terrible against them. But I think Thoughtseize is probably... Is it better? It might actually be worse than Daze. Because at least Daze pitches a force. I think I'm going to take my Dazes out. Or I'll take my Thoughtseizes out. I'll leave one in. I am going to actually play the 21st land. Just because they are a tempo deck. And it's not the worst to draw those. Serenity does hit Vial, but that's all it hits. I'm not even sure. I assume they're still playing Vial. Aether Vial, yeah. Flare Denial, Force Negation. Again, this is just like aggregate lists. This is not necessarily what they're playing, but it seems to line up. Vodolian Hexcatcher. Man, to pay that much mana and then have just Bowmaster, it's got to feel bad. This hand, not great. Not great on the draw. I like Bowmasters, but I don't like it that much. I'm going to mulligan this. This is a lot better. I like Frog a lot. I'm going to put back Daze since we're on the draw. I just don't think it's that going to likely matter. I don't know. It's our only stack permission. It's completely invalidated. I'd rather have lands. I'm going to do that. Again, like I just left the Dazes in because I had nothing better to take out. Thoughtseize is atrocious in this matchup. Because like if they get like... if they get their like scary creature True Name Nemesis out, like you're gonna feel so silly for having brainstormed, or I'm sorry for having Thoughtseize them earlier in the game because like it and yeah they can scale their threats very quickly. So options: 1, we have the option of just going and getting an island, which probably is the safest bet because we don't want to get wasted out of the game. They're not playing Daze, but they are playing 4 Wasteland. I feel like Daze is a pretty damn good card, but I guess, yeah. We could Island Ponder. That's not the worst. I think I'm just going to Island Ponder rather than go get the fetch land. I want to make sure I have at least 1 land in play so we don't fall too far behind. The card I'm going to be looking for, I mean, these are not bad. We can shuffle away the other fetch, and next turn we can have a Bowmasters up, but realistically, we're going to want to go get Underground Sea. So we can Frog first. But Bowmasters is nice. It's just like a removal spell. That's all it is. Okay, so this is Chalice. That's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's not that bad because we can just pitch our stuff to Frog. All right, I'm going to Frog. Don't force me, bro. Underground Sea. This is our only Underground Sea if they have a Wasteland. We're going to have to dig for a second follow-up. We don't have a basic Swamp in the deck. If they force and they go down, that's unfortunate because, again, we've got these dead 1-drops in our hand. I think they're going to force. If they force and then waste, then we're like seriously screwed. We won't have anything going on. Yeah, there's the force. So if we had kept the Daze, we wouldn't be in this situation. So that's pretty damning. Now it's worth noting that we are drawing 2 cards like Prismatic Ending, and we have 3 of them in our deck. So that could help shake things up a bit. I'm gonna waste this Cavern so hard if I don't have anything else to do. This could be True Name Nemesis. Yep, we can't do anything about that. I think we're probably gonna die to this thing. We can't race. If we had Frog in play, we could probably race. Force is a good draw, but it's late. And I will just Bowmasters next turn. I'll force whatever threat they put on the stack. I'm eager to get rid of cards. I just want to slow their roll. Like if it's a Lord or something like that, I'm definitely going to want to hit it. All right, we'll let them attack first so they won't know that Bowmaster is coming. And I'll just Bowmaster an instep just in case they play a creature that can be pinged here. Another Chalice is a dead card. I'm not going to interact with that. All right. Don't they have 1s in their deck? I guess maybe they board them out and board the Chalice in. All right. I think we're not going to race them, but we can try to to just stall them out. If we find another Bowmasters, that could kind of like increase our rate of doing stuff. I want to hold the Tundra just because it is a path to a removal spell. I'm not worried about the Wasteland. I'm just going to attack and I'll pass. They have one card in hand and we have a force. So if their one card is a stinker, like an additional land that they don't need or something like that, then we'll be in a pretty good position. I am going to get rid of Cavern if they play it. We're losing the race. All right, dropping 12. So we're on a 4-turn clock. Yeah, wow, that island. I'm glad to see it. All right, Plow doesn't do anything. I'm just going to keep attacking. I think actually I will play out the Tundra here. Just in the odds of them wasting it are low. I mean, they may be inclined to just waste the Black Source instead, which is technically more important. So if they waste this, oh, actually, Plow doesn't do anything because it's jealous. So I actually want them to waste this. We're going to need to break parity. Any sort of Lord must be forced. Okay. If they had a Lord, they'd probably play it before combat damage. All right. So I have no idea what's in their hand. I assume probably like force blue card. Murktide. Okay. The question is, do we want to put some cards in our graveyard so Murktide is bigger? I think the answer is yes. I'm just going to plow my own thing. It shouldn't matter. It gets countered by both chalices. Okay. And now Murktide is at least a 5/5. So we would be hitting. We don't have the luxury of doing more. I'm just going to play it out as it is. I don't think they have any sort of. Well, yeah, they do have the Hexcatcher. I'm just going to exile a card from my graveyard. I don't care. Boom. There's nothing that gets back creatures. I'll just go ahead and do this. All right. They're going to force. I'm going to force back. So they're still winning the race. Are they? Actually, let's see. If we can get one more counter off it onto the Murktide, then we might be able to win the race. I wish I'd thought about potentially ripping this. It didn't occur to me that I could rip it because I could have brainstormed and just gotten the stinky brainstorm out of my hand. Because we would definitely be winning with that. If they have the... okay, that changes the race a lot. We're dead in 2 turns now. And also our Orc Army can't attack in anymore. So now Prismatic Ending kills this. That's what we're drawing to. And that buys us a turn. So please give us a Prismatic Ending specifically. We have 3 of them. We're dead. I want to concede. There's no point in showing them more. Okay, well, we tried. Let's go to game 3. Did we see anything that changes anything? No. One of the cards that I've been thinking about playing more recently is Dress Down. I mean, it does remove like Orcish Bowmaster's ability and gives them a window to, brainstorm and stuff, but it does make it so we can ping a True Name Nemesis, or it strips all the other creature of additional power and toughness, I think, and it just makes it a little easier. I think on the play, we still don't want Force Negation or Thoughtseize. Null Rod is technically an answer to Vial, but like we're not concerned about... Thoughtseize is so bad against them. I could play a Force Negation instead. That seems really lame, but I think it's correct. Like this only answers their Force of Wills. I think that's the only non-creature spell they have in their entire deck. They have Aether Vial. Sync Stupor is not... I don't count Sync the Stupor. It's not a very good card. I've playtested with it. I think we leave the Thoughtseize in, as sad as that is. Consign doesn't do anything, I don't think. Yeah, I guess we'll run it like this. Sad we didn't draw any Prismatic Endings. They did have the second Chalice. I mean, Consign does technically stop Chalice, but it's so slow. We could consign a Chalice trigger and get like a plow through. I don't know. I feel like with Prismatic Ending, we should draw almost as many Prismatic Endings as they're drawing Chalices. All right, let's be aggressive. Give us a keepable hand. This is keepable. I think we go Island into Tamio, and then we just hope they don't interact. And if we flip Tamio, she's really good against them. Like debuffing their squad, muting their Onslaught. I'm going to open with this Delta because this can go fetch the basic planes if we need it. I'm going to get a basic island. All right. They're not playing Dismember or anything, I don't think. Do these lists play Dismember? They do, yeah. Usually they play Dismember in the sideboard, so that may come in. Dismember notably bad against Frog, if we can find a Frog. Last time, if we kept the days instead of the cantrip, I think we would have been in an okay position. This is good, but it is slow. We do have Prismatic Ending, which hopefully we'll find one. I would love to just remove that. Bowmasters is great. I think it's better to just flip Tamiyo while we have the initiative. Not like the literal initiative, but we do have the ability to do so. And we can get some of these 1-drops out of our hand, which are liabilities. So I'll just play out this. Well, Ponder first. I mean, these are insane. I think we want all of them. I'll take the Force first. Now I'm just going to Ponder again. And now we have the ability. Wasteland's probably not good. I do want Psychic Frog. I'll just take the Underground Sea and I'll shuffle after that. So this is a very aggressive start for us. They're going to need to be quick if they want to catch up with the Tamiyo ultimate effect. Especially when we can potentially Bowmaster them and use Bowmaster as like a multi-chump. I'm going to let this resolve. I just don't think it's what the fight is. Maybe that's a mistake because they do have other stuff in their deck. Like, I'm not worried about them vialing in some 1-drop. I could just pay 2 mana to get rid of their vial. Like this Ponder's basically bolted to this Force anyway. So we're going to draw the Underground Sea. But I can't use it. I need to go fetch Underground Sea because I don't want to draw the Wasteland underneath this. So technically it's better to use this in case they do have like Hexcatcher or something. If Tamiyo ultimates, we can just kill them immediately with Psychic Frog. Regardless of how many True Name Nemesises they have, Nemesi. The great thing about Tamiyo is or the great thing about Frog is flying, and they don't have a single flying creature in their entire deck. Nothing with reach. We can just fly over them for days. Wasteland might go after our White Source. That's what I would go after here. Master of the Pearl Trident. I am going to force this. They've given me a window to force. I'm going to take it. They force back. That's okay. We just need to buy time for Tamiyo to do her thing. Next turn, we'll have Orcish Bowmasters, which will potentially chump. But this would have given the creatures Island Walk, which would have given them the ability to hit Tamiyo. We can't have that. We have to protect Our Lady. Our Lady in the book attic. All right. Let's go ahead and draw here. I'm almost certainly going to go upstairs. I'm going to play this. I'll attack and I'll see what they do. If they vial something in, then I can just give flight. They're going to stun counter our thing, I think. Stun counter is fine. I'm just going to hit it now before they can do anything with it. Now they're going to need a hasty beat to stop our Tamiyo from ultimating. A hasty Island Walkie beat. I'm trying to think if there's anything in their deck that can stop a Tamiyo ultimate. There's Tidebinder, or what is it called? Yeah, Tidebinder, I think. That's a good card. It's like 3 mana Merfolk that has the Stifle effect stapled to it. They've got 4 cards in hand to R1, which is a total, dud. It doesn't do anything. Shocking themselves is fine. It shouldn't matter with Tamiyo and Psychic Frog. Sink into Stupor is legit. That works. We can't even recast her, which really sucks. Yeah, that's like totally chill. Like I didn't even think about the fact that, yeah, they did play 3 of those. So that should have been on my radar. But I still think it was correct to go up. Force is not bad. I don't think we can attack here. I think we have to chill and we could crack a clue and maybe find a wasteland. I am going to go ahead and crack a clue now. I don't think it matters too much, but a land drop would be nice if we find one. Okay, interesting. They have something that steals our draw. Phantasmal Image. That's brutal. I didn't think about this card. Yeah, wow. Oh, okay. I think that's the wrong target. So now we draw. I'm just going to discard a card if you ping it a second time. I will discard. Plow. Okay, so you do still get the Orc Army token. That's a really good card. If we can hit it with anything, it'll go away. I'm not sure if there's a convenient way to target it in our deck. I don't think there is. Yeah, we don't have good attacks anymore. We just have to wait for Psychic Frog to become unstunned and hope they don't have the ability to stun it again. And it may be able to solo them. But I am worried about like all the things that can come out of this vial. It's pretty scary. Force is little soulless when they have an active vial. Yeah, that is going to go through. I'm not going to do anything about that. I will attack with both of these. Well, not if they have a vial up. This is a great force target. It's very strong. I'll just pitch Tomio, I guess, since they already know about it. They don't know about the Ponder. So this keeps them guessing. Okay. Yeah, you stop the Lords, and that seriously slows their roll. Murktide. I think we open with it. No, I'm gonna attack, and I don't think they're gonna block. Let's see what happens. We can jump it if we need to. We'll jump using non-sorcery, non-instant cards. Okay, they are putting something in. Let's see what this is. Is this another one? Another, okay, Merfolk Trickster. Okay, but so it's not attacking anymore? I am going to discard a card just to make it a little bigger, just in case they like try to double block. Because I think it's still attacking. So it doesn't have any abilities, but it is still going to potentially deal 3 damage. I am scared that they find their third Sink into Stupor. I mean, like I said, I didn't like that card. I don't think it's very good, but it is apparently really good against this deck. We're going to make a big Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just get rid of all our 1-drops. Blue. All right, you're on a 2-turn clock here. You may be able to do your tricks, but Murktide is coming for you. Okay, so they drew their card. I mean, it could be a trickster. They don't have good attacks. If they have a Lord, then that does give them good attacks. I am going to attack with both of these. I'm going to fly. Let's see, if we fly, we can do 8 plus 4. If we pitch this, and then we can exile this and make that 9. I like doing more damage rather than less. I think I'm going to do that. I'm not going to attack with my other creatures though, because I do like holding them back, and I just don't think like there aren't good like forced blocks here. I'm going to exile 3 cards. I'll just make this bigger. Boom, boom, boom. Do you have your last Sink into Stupor? If you do, you probably win. They can hit my Orcish Bowmaster with the draw trigger if they want. No blocks. I don't care about this land. I'm going to discard it. It doesn't change the clock, but like crunching their life even a little bit may be relevant. Wasteland. I can wasteland that Soporic Springs to reduce. I was one damage away from winning here. So this is just pinging our Bowmasters, which makes sense. Okay, in combat, they have a stop at our in combat step for some reason. This will make it harder for them to have the mana they need to bounce this. Right. I feel like we have almost certainly won this, but there could be something I'm not thinking of. Because they have to deal with both of these creatures this turn. They have 2 cards. They could stun one, but we're still going to be able to get through with the other. 3-0. Let's go. Round 4 coming up. All right, and I want to note that last round, I probably would have lost if I'd been playing Stoneblade, I think. So I do think this deck has legs. Like this feels pretty good. So we're up against, We're up against Painter, which is really rough because all of our win cons are blue, except for Bowmasters. Wait, this is a different Painter build. This is a weird build. This is from a few days ago, though. If they're playing this, that's good for me because this is not focused on, like, this doesn't even play Red Elemental Blasts. We'll see if they're on this deck. That would be very exciting. This is, okay. It's not responsible to keep this kind of hand. But if they're on this deck, no, we shouldn't keep this hand. We want a Force of Will hand, or we want something that like at least has mana. So I'm going to mulligan this. We did finally lose a die roll. We can't win them all, right? Murktide's going back. Boom. So I've got a path to a Tundra. I've got a path to wasting their first land, which is what I'm going to open the game with. You always waste Urza Saga when they give you an opportunity to do so. Wow. Okay, well, this doesn't affect my hand currently, but it does suck. So we definitely need to waste that. Drew the Murktide that we put on the bottom. Yeah, like you don't mess around with Urza Saga. Like every construct they get out of it is unnecessary when you can just waste them real quick. Wow, they have another one. Mishra's Research Desk. I haven't seen this in a while. Sacrifice Mishra's Research Desk. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. Until the next turn, you may play that card. And you can unearth it if you have red mana, which they will have access to red mana. I mean, this gives me Painter vibes because it's red. I think we just Tamiyo here. Yeah, that's a bad draw. Yeah, I think... Let's say hypothetically... Okay, let's see if Research Desk was in this. It was not. I think they're probably playing red. I think it's correct to go ahead and get an island just out of reverence for the fact that they could have Blood Moon. Because like it's totally avoidable. Like I don't have to die to Blood Moon here. And I don't have any white cards in my hand anyway. I may regret this decision later, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then next turn what I'll do is I'll try to ponder to find a Wasteland. Because I do still want to get rid of the Urza Saga before the search goes on the stack because it's going to be a Grindstone. We don't have a clean way to deal... Okay, so they're not going to put a construct into play. They're turboing here. What did they reveal? Ancient Tomb is pretty damn good. 4 cards in hand. Lots of mana available. We still haven't seen any indication they have red mana, other than the fact that this pedal can generate it. But like I think even like Karnforge, which doesn't use colored mana, plays that. We can't do anything about this. All right. Gosh. I am like terrified right now. Thoughtseize is actually pretty good. I'm going to ponder. If I can find an Ancient Tomb, I will hit the Saga probably. Just to prevent the search trigger. A second Thoughtseize. I don't want the days. I don't want the sewers. Yeah, I'm just going to shuffle this. A second Ponder does give us the ability to flip Tamiyo, but they could just create a construct and then start attacking it the next turn. So I'm not sure how good Tamiyo is going to be when they... I mean, we could be like dead next turn if they have Painter in their hand. I think I need to Thoughtseize them. So I'll go ahead and attack to get the construct, or get the clue. And then we're going to Thoughtseize, and we're going to hopefully strip some important spell from their hand. Because otherwise, if they just have a bunch of blanks, we're still in danger. They do have the Painter. So Painter is obviously the take here, because we would be dead if we hadn't Thoughtseize there. Because they have 1, they can float, and they got 1, 2, yeah. And I think, what was the other card in hand? Vexing Bauble. So technically we wouldn't have been dead, but we'd be very close to dead. So I am convinced that they're playing this colorless deck, and the Mishra's Work Desk kind of threw me off, but yeah, I think that's what they're playing. So I'm going to go ahead and pass, and they are going to be able to tutor. They're probably still going to get a Grindstone because it's just GG, but like they can exile my Tamiyo. Can this exile any permanent or just creatures? Creature. Okay, so they are creating the construct. This definitely disincentivizes me from... they're going to get a key, and then they have Vault, and then they can do a giant Kozilek's Command. And they're not going to be so kind as to crack their bubble on the way through. We do have a big Murktide. It's not a huge Murktide, but it's a kind of a big Murktide that we can deploy next turn. A lot of mana here. I think what the modes are going to be is they're probably going to stack their deck. They're going to exile that, and they're going to scry a bunch. This is good for them. This construct is now big enough that it can hang with my Murktide. If I had force here, I would be able to Murktide next turn. I don't like doing that, but it is something I could have done. I think what I'm going to do here is just... So they have Bobble in hand, is there, and then let's see how many they survive. 1 top, 2 bottom. Okay, so they only have 1 good card coming up. So options. 1, we potentially... I do think we want to dig here, and I think we want to find a land. And then if we find the land, we can Bowmaster. If we don't find a land, I'll just shuffle because land is the most high priority thing here. Another Tamiyo... It's not terrible. I'm going to try to spike the land. If I don't spike the land, I'm probably just dead. I don't think deploying a Tamiyo and taking 6 and then letting them have an entire another turn to do degenerate things with mana. Because they did keep one of those cards, and it could very well be another Kozilek's Command or something even worse, like a One Ring. I'm going to any order shuffle, and I've got 20 lands in the deck. Oh. Yeah, I think we're dead. Yeah, I just don't think Tamiyo by herself was good enough. Okay, this is fine because we don't care about them having more mana. This actually barely increases their mana. What would really increase their mana would be finding more keys. But it does make the construct scarier. So we're on a 2-turn or 3-turn clock still technically. Okay, another Vexing Bauble. Couldn't deal with the first one. I wouldn't be surprised if they draw through these. And I can't punish because I couldn't play my Bowmasters. They're going to draw through 1. I would love for them to draw through the second. They should have attacked before they drew through. They're going to Urza's Tower. Okay, they're going to add more mana. Okay, now they're going to attack. Maybe when I put Bowmasters on the stack, they'll crack the bubble. One can dream, right? That would be insane. And then we get like another ping. I don't think it's going to be that consequential. There's the land. Okay, so I think we have the option to plow. They gain a bunch of life. We do need to get rid of this, and then we can Murktide and have a pretty big creature. The other option is we just Bowmaster now. I kind of like Bowmastering now because it'll encourage them to pop the bauble. Or we could wait. We could Bowmaster, and then we could plow. We do need to plow this turn cycle. There's no way we're going to let them hit us again because I feel like it's just too big of a risk. Murktide, they could actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They still can't Murktide kill a Kozilek or a Murktide with Kozilek's Command. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Bowmasters when they attack and see what they do. And if they try to One Ring or something, then Bowmasters will surprise them, and hopefully that will be impactful. But we do have Fetch for Tundra for getting rid of their construct. But they would gain a lot of life, which sucks. But this will put an extra power on our Murktide, which is not a huge deal. Okay, please draw through that. Okay, they're going to do that. Okay. I think they're going to be tempted to go ahead and draw if I put the Bowmasters on the stack, but they may be too disciplined for that. Okay, combat. All right. Here's our Bowmasters. Please crack all your baubles. Your Soul Guide Lantern and your bauble. Okay, they let it resolve, so they're not going to crack any of their baubles. I do think we go ahead and just plow this now. I don't know how many things they're going to have in their deck that we need to plow. I mean, we are going to need to plow it. This does make it so we can Murktide next turn, assuming they don't get wise to Murktide and use the Soul Guide Lantern. If they do, then Murktide's turned off just like everything else in our hand. All right, let's draw. Second Frog is very good. Murktide is still higher priority. And I do think we go ahead and cast it now. Yeah, because it represents a way to end them much quicker. I don't think they have any instant speed way to kill our Bowmasters, so I'm just going to attack them. There's no way they're cracking the bobble. I mean, if they're desperate enough, they might crack the bobble. But we shouldn't count on that. We can pitch cards to... okay, they have a lot of damage dealing lands. I'm so glad they drew a land there. I feel like Emrakul is definitely a possibility at this point. It'll be interesting to see how long they wait around. They're adding a lot of mana. Ulamog would be devastating if that's what they're casting. 9 mana in this pool. I think this is just a giant Kozilek's Command. And they are going to draw a card. So they did get rid of that, which sucks. I can't do anything about it. But I am going to have a frog next turn, which, you know, it's not great. It's not bad. We've never had a window to crack our clue because this game has been so intense. It's turn 7 and we still haven't cracked our clue. I don't feel like I ever had a window to do so. I hope I didn't miss a window. All right, we will ping them. How many cards? They only kept one top. So it could be that they found a Kozilek's Command. Who knows? But it's not something they want to deploy now. I don't think Daze is likely to matter here, but yeah, I'm just going to attack first. I'm not going to present my frog yet. Okay, now I'm going to play with the frog. And if their card is Glaring Fleshraker or something like that, we will kill it with fire. We'll kill it with farming. Okay, what is this? 2 mana. They're going to cycle. That is fine. Ping. Do you want to cycle with your bauble too? Please. Please cycle that bauble. Okay, they're just going to untap that. Okay. So they're basically dead on board. We can hit them for 8 next turn. They need to do something now. Planar Nexus dramatically increases their mana. Grindstone. Okay. Painter Servant. Okay. Black. All right, that is okay, my friend. I am thrilled to tell you that I have this card called Swords of Plowshares. Let's see what they draw. Oh, they're going to do it again. I didn't think about that. Oh, no. Yeah, they can do it again while the plow. This is devastating. Okay, well, yeah, I miscalculated. I didn't think about. I've never seen that trick before. The double grindstone. Well, they definitely earned that win, and I've learned something important from that game. All right. Clocks are pretty even. That was a very eventful game. However, we have a lot of cards we're going to bring in here. We're going to bring in Null Rod for sure. We're going to bring in Serenity, another Prismatic Ending, Consigns, and we're going to bring in a Force Negation. Cards that are coming out are going to include our Plow. We did not see a single creature other than the Construct. I feel like Daze is terrible here, even on the play. But we could keep one. It might be better to keep a Plow. Let's take a look at how they likely sideboard. So they have the Karnforge here. Eldrazi Confluence. What does this do? Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Target creature gets +3, -3, so it's a removal spell. Exile target non-land permanent, then return it, so it's a blank effect. Create a Eldrazi Scion. Okay, and then 2 Dismembers are likely coming in. Yeah, this is really interesting. Painting it all black, just like the Rolling Stones. Barrowgoyf is pretty weak against spawn tokens. But, I mean, I am thinking about taking out Barrowgoyf just because it is super weak. Like, basic, and it's slow. I'd rather have Dazes in. I don't think we need... No, we do need these. We do need these to, like... It almost saved our bacon. Because they do have... yeah, so I'll just take those out and... Can I fit this in? I do like the instant speed of this. Maybe we don't bring in Force Negation. I feel like we do bring in Force Negation. I mean, Like they must be stopped early on. I think maybe we just do 2 plows. Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously it still didn't save us there. And it totally would have saved us. Like, a lot of things would have saved us, but that Vexing Bauble was so vexing. It lived up to his name. All right, game 2. Let's see whether we get some consigned memories. We get a hand without any colored mana. This is an easy mulligan. We can't afford to stand still and wait to draw. This is a pretty meh hand. I'm going to put back the Underground Sea. I think it's fine. Yeah, because we do want to fetch and fill up our graveyard. So I'll just put back the Underground Sea. Then I'm just going to lead. I don't think there's any reason to play on basics. I'm just going to lead Underground Sea into Tamio. And then next turn, I can play a Psychic Frog. Orcish Bowmasters is good, but it'll be good once they get up to 1 ring mana, which hopefully they won't get too quickly. Monolith, scary. Do they have a key to go with it? Yeah. So target creature and they draw a card. Yeah, it's not the worst. I mean, their Monolith is tapped. I'm going to waste them. I'm going to take a turn off and waste them. Because I think it's unlikely that we manage to screw them. We could wait a turn. I'm trying to think of like what's the worst thing that happens. If they just happen to have kept a hand that doesn't have much interaction or many lands or anything, like if they kept some sort of greedy hand, this won't give them the initial mana that they need. And we do have like an in-step brainstorm if we want to use it that way. I don't like to do it that way, but you know, we might be able to find a daze or something. Planar Nexus. Okay, that would have been probably a better wasteland target. I'm not going to do the in-step brainstorm. I think we're just going to waste this. It's pretty important to waste it. They've got like Urza's, lands and stuff in their deck. There. Yeah, I'm glad I wasted it now. There's the Bauble. That annoying bugger. All right. Well, we're going to frog. And we're probably going to frog again after that. I just want to rain down frogs on them like in the climax of Magnolia. All right. Dismember can kill this. All right, Manifold Key means that they have all the mana they need. Are they going to grind us? Okay. They have 4 mana this turn. Karn would be bad. 1 ring is terrible. We will Bowmaster them in up when they tap it next. I think that's really our best bet. And then we're just going to try to reduce their life. Murktide's too slow. So I'll just chill. And then we'll Bowmasters when they tap. And we're just going to hope that Bowmasters can get there. They lose a life. They no longer have protection. Yep. Black, white, Bowmasters. They can Kozilek's Command if they don't want to take the damage for this. If they have a second Kozilek's Command. All right, but we are going to get a couple triggers here. We'll get 1 trigger for sure. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. 3 mana. Okay, and then if they activate the Manifold Key, they could Manifold Key and just draw again around Bowmasters. That might be what they're doing. Yeah, that makes sense. And this was unavoidable. Like, we had to do it. They are going to get... so we're going to get 2 triggers here. But... Oh, wait. We get 3 triggers. Okay. Wow. They screwed that up, I think. I think they screwed up the sequencing there pretty badly. This works out very well for us that we got the extra triggers. Yeah, because what they meant to do was avoid us having this giant creature that essentially has them dead on board. There's the Planar Nexus. They have a lot of mana now. They've got 5 mana. They've already used their Manifold Key. If they can Karn, they have 9 cards in their hands, so they're not going to be able to get, what's it called? They're cracking their Bauble. That gives us another trigger. They're trying to end us this turn. And they may be able to do it because Painter plus Grindstone, they don't have the mana for that. They may have cracked that. So yeah, Petal is what I was thinking. That would explain why they would get it out of the way. Petal. And now if they just Grindstone, another Grim Monolith, another Vexing Bauble, they're dead on board. They have to win now. They could Kozilek Command the token, but that's like not super powerful. they're going to die to their own One Ring because I can pitch my hand to Frog and hit them for 6 next turn, and then they're basically dead to the One Ring. There's another bobble. Okay. They're passing? Okay, so I don't believe... Oh, yeah. No, they need colorless. No, wait, they have colorless off-green monolith. Okay. I shouldn't have played that out. That was a mistake. I'm going to attack with everything. I'm pretty sure they're just going to Cosmic Command my Orc Army token. And then I'll regret having played out the Tundra, for sure. Okay, here's the Cosmic Command on the Orc Army token. It sucks. We're not going to kill them this turn. So, I mean, there's a very real chance that they can win now. Had I kept that in hand, we would have had 5. We would have been able to do 5 to them, 6, and then 3 off of this. So they're creating the spawn tokens. So now I need to jump the Frog. 1, 2, 3. I am going to start discarding. I don't think we need a second Frog. I don't think we're going to cast this Murktide Regent ever. We could brainstorm here. I'm trying to think of what we could find that would be good. A second Bowmaster would be pretty damn good. I think I am going to go ahead and brainstorm first. Okay, Thoughtseize actually is pretty good. Force is bad. I don't think they're going to crack their bubble. I think what we need to do is I'll just pitch this Undercity Sewer. I'll put the Frog. Okay, I'm not going to... So I'm going to Thoughtseize this turn, and I'm also going to... I'm going to pitch Undercity Sewers. So I'll just go like this. So I will draw a Frog in case like I need it for some reason. And now I can discard this card. Do a little extra damage here. They're going to probably block this. So we draw the Frog. They go to 6. I'm going to Thoughtseize them. Let's see if we can take something consequential out of their hand. Well, what do we want to take? I think Painter Servant is actually... They're more likely to win off Painter Servant. If they exile one of our cards, we can still win. They have to basically exile both of these or they're dead to their One Ring. I think we hit the Painter Servant here. Yeah. And Kozilek's Command, they can Kozilek's Command our Bowmaster, but I don't think that's advisable. They could Kozilek Command before they tap it, but they're at 3. They have a lot of mana. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think they have 9 total mana. But I think it's correct to go ahead and Kozilek's Command the Orcish Bowmasters and then draw cards. And they can draw a lot of cards, but they're going to need a combination of mana. And if they get One Ring out, if they can find a One Ring in the top cards, that'll be really good. Okay, they have a lot of mana. So the draw for turn was Urza's Tower. Yeah, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a mistake to take the... Because now I'm thinking like if we hit the Kozilek's Command, they wouldn't be able to get rid of the Bowmaster, and now they're going to be able to One Ring twice. They're going to be able to draw 9 cards with impunity. And then they just need to find a replacement One Ring, and then we've lost. This is a super hard matchup, by the way. There's the Kozilek's Command. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, I was just thinking like, well, if they draw the freaking... But now, I mean, they may very well draw it anyway. I'm just going to F6. We'll see whether we're dead. I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to thread the needle here. Because they do have Manifold Key. They've got tons of mana. All they have to do is find another One Ring, and they're back in it. And they've got protection for a turn, and they can just figure out a way to go off. Yeah, if we take in the Kozilek's Command, so it's crushing. I'm always doing really good in these leagues, and then I just make one mistake that at the time seems pretty like small, but it costs you everything. Because on MTGO, you're playing against the best players in the world. Like these are way better than people that you play at like a weekly. Getting a trophy is incredibly improbable and difficult, and these people are able to do it. And it just comes from them knowing their decks very well and knowing what they're possible. Yeah, they've got 15 cards in their deck. I would be stunned if I'm not dead to freaking Painter here. One Ring. Okay, this is a replacement One Ring. I think we can concede. I worked so hard. Yeah, gosh. And they can just use the One Ring again if they want to, but they don't really even need to. I can't do anything. I can't attack this turn. I'm going to draw a blank. I think I'm drawing like Force of Will. They still have double bobble in play. They got 13 cards in hand. I'll just walk away. But, yeah, I'm dead. They're about to painter me. They'll definitely do it next turn. 3 bobbles in play. The research desk. I'll stop narrating. You know, you saw how badly I made that one bad call. This is very informative, instructive. Yeah, so here we go. Can't do anything. I'm just going to F6 through my turn, and I'm going to F6 through their turn. Unless they somehow like crack all 3 bobbles, which they have no reason to do that, then, you know, yeah. And they could just One Ring and get another turn if they want. Okay, so they're drawing a card here. So they are going to just take 1 life. Maybe if I F6, they will crack all their bobbles real quick, but they have 9 cards in hand. If they start cracking bobbles, I will on F6. These are like the kinds of decisions that like keep you up at night. Like, why did I take the painter when I could have taken the Kozilek's Command? It seemed like, oh, that was like a very much like playing to not lose versus playing to win play. 14 cards in hand. It's just stunning how quickly they draw cards. They've got 17. They've got practically more cards in their hand than they do in their library. I totally deserve to lose here. It's just painful to me that like you can have like, I don't know how long this match has been, like 30 minutes. You can make the right decision for 30 minutes. You can make, I don't know, like 30 or 40 right decisions. I'm not saying all my decisions were right, but just a single wrong decision and you're dead. A single wrong decision. And if you think about it, like for Eternal Weekend, you can only lose 1 match. Okay, they've got Paradox Engine. We don't have to watch this. We are dead. They can actually get Painter from their sideboard. I don't know why they're doing this. They should have just gotten Painter. They're styling on us. I mean, technically they're dead on board, but like, there's no way with 12. Like, they've got so much mana. I'm just gonna scoop. Bad feels. All right, we're gonna go to round 5, and we're gonna hope to. Yeah, and we lost at 0-2. That was decisive, and that's despite me having a lot of good sideboard cards in there. And, I mean, we were doing what we were supposed to do. We were tempoing their deck. We were wastelanding them a whole lot. We were keeping them low resource, but that one mistake. So it's not guaranteed that I would have won game 3. I would have had to win it on the draw. It's a beast of a deck, though. Great. We're up against one of the greatest blue-black tempo players ever. I can't keep a one-lander against them. And we're on the draw. Yeah. This like Force is terrible in this matchup. The old Murktide. Don't want that. This is great. Unfortunately, we don't have basic planes. We will have one post-board. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait their wasteland with an Undercity Sewers, and I'm going to chill. Card that's going to go back. Oh, Plow is so good against them. I think I'm going to put back Force. I just don't think it's good. Unless, I mean, they may be on like Reanimator, but usually they're Tempo. I think a lot of the players that were playing Reanimator are switching back to Tempo now. Yeah, I'm going to just bait the Force. Or bait the Waste. I want to land on top. I'm not going to turn down a Frog. Also, milling this potentially gives them a Reanimate target if they are playing Reanimator. Don't want to turn on their reanimation effects. Yeah, like, this is one of the things, like, people who are not playtesting on MTGO, if you're watching this and you don't playtest on MTGO and you think you're good, are you playing players like Arkan? I bet you aren't playing them. The only place you can play those on is MTGO. I don't even know if Arkan goes to, like, Eternal Weekend. Maybe. All right, I think what I'm going to do here, like this, it's got me thinking maybe they're on Beanstalk or something. That's a very weird card. I am going to go ahead and Thoughtseize them just to see what's up. Spell Pierce. Okay, they're on like Jeskai control. I am very confident they're on Jeskai control. I'm fine with them. Like that's a 1-for-1. We do have the ability to go Plow. Are they really on Jeskai? They might be on some sort of blue-black control. But like that's a Prismatic Vista. Only Jeskai plays that. Which makes our brainstorm or our Sword Splashers very bad here. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm not expecting days out of them, but I am expecting. Okay, so if they're on Jeskai, I think we put these back. This is a hell of a gambit, but I think they're not good cards against them. Actually, we can put back some of these lands too. No, I really don't want these lands. I don't think we need them. I'm going to put these back. We don't have a way to protect our frog, but I do think the upside is too high. I'm going to go ahead and break our brainstorm here. I'll just get a Tundra. They could be playing, you know, Jeskai gamers play like back to basics. We do have a basic. I'm getting some MTGO lag, unfortunately. Okay. Which always sucks because I'm a slow player. And I need every second. Black, blue. You wouldn't happen to have a plow. I'm pretty sure they have a plow. I can't predict it, but I think it's a mistake not to make them have it. They might have prismatic ending. I bet you this gets planes. Prismatic ending. Yep. All right. And that's a 1-for-1. I mean, they're going to find a way to pull ahead later. I'll just play this land out. We're just going to chill with our extremely reactive hand against their extremely reactive deck. And their long game is way better than ours. This is like the nightmare matchup. We don't have the Bowmasters to punish. Not that they wouldn't have a plow. Okay, Lorien revealed. Glad they're cycling that rather than casting that. Meticulous Archive. They're getting a Surveil. I mean, the good news is like our Wastelands are on in a way that they're not normally on against this deck. The bad news is like we desperately need a Brainstorm to fix our hand because these cards do not line up at all with what our opponent is likely doing. Wow. Speak of the devil. These are good. Gosh, we don't need more lands though. The problem is we keep drawing lands. So like I'm trying to get rid of these plows that are bad and I can't because we keep drawing lands. I think we put back the lands. These are not good. Yeah, that was like a pretty atrocious brainstorm. Okay, I'm just going to pass and I will surveil, or I don't have a surveil land. I'm only playing one in this deck, but I will shuffle. And I think, sadly, we just have to end step Bowmaster so we have something going on. I don't think it's correct to chill because the longer the game goes on, the better it gets for them. We have to make them use their removal, have to overload it. They do have Hardcast Force up if they want to use that, but I bet you they'll just save that and use removal. Well, it looks like they're going to do Hardcast Force. Again, we just have to 1-for-1, but we don't have a way to break parity. They're going to be able to Lorien Revealed and do lots of stuff like that. Here's the Force. Yeah, and we can't counter it. Just comedic how bad our draws have been. There's a saying that, like, you know, you don't want to draw the wrong half of your deck. Like, one half of our deck is, you know, removal. One half of our deck is, I'm not going to counter a Ponder. I'll counter like a Narset, which, you know, they'll probably just Spell Pierce me when I do that. Spell Pierce is a bad card when you don't have Wasteland in my humble opinion. Okay, this is Parallax Tide. The only reason I can think, okay, remove fade, exile target land. They can exile our lands. I think this is worth going ahead and countering. I'm not sure what it's for, but I don't want to find out. All right, and they are going to exile our lands. They probably have like some Stifle or something so they can just like one-sided Armageddon us. They could even go after our basic lands. Yeah, this is brutal. All right, now I want to draw lands. Yeah, they're just going to stifle it when it comes back, and they're just like, hey, I just removed 5. Exile target land. Yeah, so it only works with lands. It's just target land. Interesting. They gave us our... okay, well, yeah, we're getting destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. And our sideboard's not good against this type of deck. Like, we just kind of like scoop against bigger control decks. Because, oh, they have one more turn with it, but they will stifle it. Okay. So much fun. All right. Well, I mean, they're like, they could blink it. They could do a lot of things here. I don't imagine that we're going to get our lands back. Yep, there's our stifle. Consign. Yeah, that's fine. And they can even replicate it to make sure that we don't have the ability to interact with it. All right. Well, they have one card in hand. I mean, we could potentially like come back from this. It's just they did this in upkeep, so they are going to draw a card. It's cute. I don't think it's good, but it's going to beat us because they're kind of almost playing like a really old style deck, but Our deck is like hyper tuned for this meta, right? I'm gonna go get. I think I still have an Underground Sea in my deck, and I'm gonna Thoughtseize them. It's a weak play, but it's better than nothing. And if they have another Spell Pierce, okay. So I think we actually take Supreme Verdict. Consign's really bad against us, and eventually we will draw threats. Like if we draw a Murktide, we're actually in a decent position here. This is Lorien Revealed. 4th. All right. We're not going to like concede immediately to that, but I'm pretty sure it is going to kill us. Yeah, I'm almost certain it's going to kill us because even if we draw like a Murktide, we can only block one of them and they can deal 6 and then the following turn they can deal more. If we can't draw both a Murktide and a White Source. Yeah. Jeskai. All right. Okay, so I think our Wastelands are actually still decent here. The fact that we have 20 lands in our deck. Plains could probably come in. Serenity is not good. The only enchantment they had was that one. Force Negation can come in. I think Hydroblast is good here. Cards that are not good, well, like basically everything in our deck is not good. Prismatic Ending, not good. They didn't show a single permanent that we could have hit with it. Swords to Plowshares, even worse. I'm going to assume they don't have any creatures and they're just going to win with 4th. Like I've definitely played my share of Jeskai do nothing and win through 4th Aerolingus. I just don't think it's fun. It's like too controlling, if that makes sense. Like I feel like you can go too control and that deck does that. Daze is terrible, but it's probably better than a lot of the other cards we have. Bowmasters is probably the best card in our deck. I think we could take out a Tundra and just keep the Plains just because I don't think maybe they don't play back to basics. I mean, they're going to be exiling our lands, right? Yeah, maybe we don't bring the Plains in. We've cut almost all the white from our deck anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Prismatic Ending, we can keep those. They suck, but yeah, Surgical's not any good. You never want to board it in these kinds of matchups. Didn't see a single artifact. Consign. I don't think Consign is good. I'll keep these endings in just in case they bring some sideboard card, like a Planeswalker or something. We do have a lot of threats. I like the fact that Orcish Bowmasters produces multiple bodies, but this is gonna be a really tough match. And I can tell that they just sideboarded a ton of cards against us because they used almost an entire clock. Yeah, this is a keep. I'm just going to Underground Sea into Thoughtseize. And then we'll have Bowmasters, which hopefully they won't be able to deal with. Or actually, yeah, we have to Bowmasters unless we magically find another colored source for Psychic Frog. If we clear the way, Psychic Frog's quite good. Thoughtseize is really good against them. Okay, so let's take a look at this hand. So, Back to Basics is in there. That's good to know about. They only have 1 mana, but it is going to be basic. We could take the Force, and I think they probably will go for Tamio, but that forces them, that stops them from being able to really do much. They will eventually find the Plow, or I think they're probably going to go ahead and island Tamio. Pyroblast is a pain too. Yeah, we really need to draw another Thoughtseize to get rid of... Like, I definitely want to get rid of Plow. All those cards are a nightmare. This deck is a nightmare to play against. So, yeah. It may seem crazy to take the Force of Will because it's a 2-for-1. But we just have to hope that they don't find land and that this Daze is basically a Force of Will. Oh, they did draw a land. Okay. Well, so Bowmaster's is not going to be very good. None of our cards are good. None of our cards line up. I'm not going to Daze that. I'm going to hope that they do something that we can punish with Daze next turn. Or with Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah. If they try to brainstorm, if they draw a brainstorm, they're just passing. So if we play out Bowmasters, we're just dead. They'll just plow it. It will stop them from being able to crack that clue, but that doesn't advance us toward our goal any. I think I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm here just because I've got nothing better to do, and maybe they blast it. It is a liability to have it in our hand when they can Narset. Okay, looks like they might be blasting this, which is great. I just want to get as many cards out of their hand as I can. Now, they don't necessarily have planes. I'm going to wait and see what they do, and I'm going to attempt to Bowmasters them. I don't think it's correct to... well, I definitely could have pondered there. That was probably a missed opportunity. They may try to flip her. I think I do need to punish this. They will almost certainly like find a plains or something and just plow. But we do get an extra trigger, and we do get that plow out of their hand so that we can pave the path for Psychic Frog next turn. Yeah, if they have a land, we're screwed. Let's see did they shuffle? Oh, they have an island. Okay, so they don't have an immediate answer for Bowmaster then. So their hand is currently back to basics. Okay, they're cracking a clue. Desperately looking for a white source, maybe? Oh, are they flipping her? Yeah, I'm just going to attack her. That is bad, though. Okay, we got more lands coming. My thinking is there's a very real possibility. I mean, this can basically just tread water with Tamiyo. That's all it can do. They could find Supreme Verdict, but they need double white. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get an island here. And I'm definitely going to bring in plains for the next one. I didn't think they'd actually have the audacity to play back to basics, which is, as I've expressed many times, I think it's a terrible card. I'll just go ahead and attack Tamiyo. Just to attack her down a little bit. And then I'm going to frog, which I think neither of these have much hope of survival. Yeah, I could have pondered and tried to find, but I'm worried that like this land is going to get locked down forever. If they, yeah, that's fine. Now they need to plot two things. I think we do put the damage on Tamiyo. And this really disincentivizes them from drawing again. Okay, so now they have the white source. I'm surprised they didn't just plow now, but they will. Okay, they're going to go get their plow now. They're probably going to hit frog. We can kill Tamiyo. Oh, they're going to hit that? Deal. I mean, it's not good. Frog, we have to pitch 3 cards to kill her. And then we're really screwed when they plow us. And they have red elemental blasts. I think we do need to kill Tamiyo. I think this is our chance to do so. Yeah, I'm scared. They can Narset. I think I'm just going to pitch all 3 cards. Call me crazy. I could ponder for a potential look at... I should have pondered. There's no reason not to ponder off that island. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. If they just kill it, then I'm just going to concede. Okay, we get a card. It is a land. I don't want to play at that land because that totally tips our hand. This is what we're capable of. I'm going to pass. I think the odds of this frog not dying this turn are extremely low. Yep, and we've got egg on our face. Narset. So they're going to be able to go get something good. Yeah, this is just like structural. Like, even if you're playing well, and I don't think I'm playing well, this is like an extremely uphill battle. They're not going to actually activate Narset. Interesting. Yeah, and now our hand does nothing. So I will attack Narset and I will pass. And they basically just have all the time in the world to do whatever they need to do. Okay, let's see what they get. Teferi. That's an insane card. We can't answer it easily. They plus. Okay. It's not good. I'm going to... If I hit Narset, then that is okay. I think what we need to do is we do need to hit Narset just to keep her from drawing another card, and we need to cast Psychic Frog. And Psychic Frog can just pitch these cards, assuming Psychic Frog is not removed. They are a little ways away from being able to put one of the plows back on top with Mystic Sanctuary. They need another island for that. Next turn, I'll attack Narset. That's fine. Do they have a plow for Psychic Frog? They're pondering. Could they have Supreme Verdict, instant speed if they want it? Terrifying. I think we have to play into it. Let the record stand that I know that Supreme Verdict, instant speed is possible from here, but we just don't have a choice, in my opinion. We have to play out Bowmasters so we can kill the Narset, and then we have to attack Teferi. If we don't kill the Narset, then we aren't able to draw a card off of Psychic Frog connecting with Teferi, and we fall even farther behind. Back to basics is fine. That does mean that they no longer have Supreme Verdict instant speed, but they do have other stuff. I think I'm just going to go ahead and play this out. And I'm going to go black. I mean, they could just have like a straight up force. Something they could have. Hit that. Now we can attack Teferi. I mean, these Planeswalkers are a huge distraction. I think we discard this Delta. I mean, this does represent colored mana later on. Ponder. I think we pitch Ponder. Yeah, because, I mean, they could rip another Narset. We have to kill Teferi. Do we kill him? We do. We draw a card. Another Orcish Bowmasters is fantastic. Now we can potentially ambush them. We will tap out completely to do that, and we're going to be playing hard into... but if they like find themselves in a situation where all they have is cantrips, yeah, there's the Supreme Verdict. Wrath of the Skies. Okay, yeah, that sucks. We knew that was possible. They do lose their clue token. I think we're so far behind at this point that I do want to just go ahead and use my last Black Source to deploy a Bowmasters. It sucks to do this, but I'm very fatalistic about this game. Like, I think we're like totally screwed. Like, they need to brick several turns in a row. If all they have is cantrips, then we might have a chance. That does allow us to reset. I'm going to play that out. I'm going to need land. It'll be a plains, or it'll be a tundra. So we're dealing a little damage. They can afford to take it easy and not cantrip. Jace, I can't interact with. They can bounce the Bowmaster. Plow. Well, I am going to attempt to daze this. And I want to pick up my land. Now they have to probably bounce one of these. They're going to... Oh, they're plussing. That makes sense. Never mind. I forget that Jace actually has another ability. He's got 4 abilities. Okay. So... Targeting... Oh, so they did it to themselves. And they didn't put it on the bottom. What does that mean? Nothing good. Okay. That daze was clutch. There's a Psychic Frog. I think we go ahead and attack Jace, and then we deploy the Frog. And again, we're playing into sweepers, but what can we do? And we're tapping our last Black Source. In classic Be Excellent fashion, dissing back to basics before losing to it. But we're not actually losing to it. What we're losing to is all the other stuff they're playing. Like, it's not actually of that much consequence in my humble opinion. And here's a sweeper, and we're going to concede. Yep, good games. Okay, so that was a disappointing way to end what was started off as a very promising and frankly lucky league. I think we got we won 3 die rolls in a row. Losing to Karnforge was really painful. This, structurally, I think I could play this matchup like 100 times, and I think I might win like 10 times. I think that's how bad the matchup is. And maybe like a really skilled player could beat it, but one thing I will say, though, is... okay, so the real question is... okay, so we did a positive record, but we lost in a crushing manner to the last 2 opponents. Let's take a look at the list again. It felt tight. Felt great. It felt better than blue-black because it does have the extra Thoughtseize. That was really important in pretty much every matchup. Like, we sided it out against Merfolk, but every other matchup, Thoughtseize stood up and was really good. Like, it just picking apart their hand. When Archon revealed that they had like only 1 land and 6 insane cards, any of which we could have taken. That was pretty crushing, and then they proceeded to draw land. So I do think that maybe that game we could have been okay, but again, it is like a structurally unfavorable matchup, and you have to apply yourself. A lot of you might be thinking, why'd you play into Wrath of the Skies? Like, I'm sorry, but you have to keep sticking things. That's how you beat these Apex control, not mid-range, but like just straight up control decks, is you just keep sticking threats. One thing this deck doesn't have that a lot of lists have are additional threats that you can bring in, right? Like blue-black tempo, yeah, you have 15 creatures, but you can bring in like up to 20. That's how many I play, because I play like an additional... I play my Bowmasters on the side, but I'm playing like 4 Nethergoyfs, and actually we can show what that list looks like. But let's take one last look at this list. So Prismatic Ending was not like super powerful or impactful in this league, but I do think it's a good card. Plow, not super impactful in this league. Like this could have easily just been Fatal Push, I think. I don't know that there was a single situation where this was better, but was there ever a situation where we got screwed because we were playing white? I don't think there was. You could argue that like that final game, we would have been playing a basic swamp had we not been playing white. But I mean, that's it really. That's like the only situation where it would have been better to not just play a ton of duels. Right. And I think dual lands, fetch lands, like that is the peanut butter and jelly that holds the entire legacy format together. And I like playing a lot of fetches and a lot of duels. And the mana felt tight. I like playing 20 lands instead of 19. Blue-black plays 19, but they don't have to support the third color. And if you look, the color splash is so faint. And really, for black, we're the total number of black cards that are in this list, not that high. Of course, Frog can pitch to force. So we got 11 black cards in the entire list. We got 2 more on the sideboard, but those are free spells. And if you look, they're all one black pip. We do have some multi-blue pip. Murktide, really strong. Yeah, that giant Kozilek's command, that was really bad. Oh, I'm just going to be kicking myself about that. Okay, so any other observations from the matchup? First of all, Tamiyo continued to overperform. She was, a lot of times she wasn't doing anything because she's a lightning bolt for removal. Our opponent was able to bounce her back to our hand and kill us with True Name that one game in the Merfolk match. But I do think 4 Tamiyo is totally defensible. I don't miss Teferi. Like, I don't think you try to jam Teferi into this list. I think this is more of a tempo list. And I think even this Barrowgoyf being 3 mana, like, that probably will come up. And, like, but I think, like, we almost always, whenever we drew him, we just put him back. I think we actually did cast him one time, and he was good. I'm going to play some more leagues with this list because I do think that this might be a good alternative to Stoneblade. Stoneblade, I do think, can do a better job of like the top end control decks. Like I think Stoneblade is a lot better against Beans. It's a lot better against Jeskai. Like what are various Jeskai variants? Of course, what Arkan was playing was probably basically just standard Jeskai where you just do nothing and then you Fourth Aerolingus like turn 10 or something like that. It's a very boring deck to play, but it's totally respectable. Like it is skill intensive. It's just boring to play against, and I think it's boring to play. But the exciting parts of this list, very much like getting Bowmasters, like figuring out when to time Bowmasters. A lot of times you just jam because you're a tempo deck. But like if your opponent's playing Bowmasters, suddenly things change dramatically, and then it's a Bowmaster off, as I like to call it, where you're trying to figure out the proper timing. You never want to be the first person to cast a Bowmaster in the Bowmaster mirror. So we didn't get any of that. We were just sticking Bowmasters and like, oh, okay, you had a brainstorm in your hand, so you're going to brainstorm with our Bowmaster on this deck. Nothing we can do about that. I think it's a foolish thing to play a tempo deck and to wait around for them to brainstorm. First of all, them brainstorming into a Bowmaster does not mean the game ends. There were lots of instances where we had this giant orc army and they were still able to figure out ways of dealing with it, right? Like like in the Jeskai match, we did get a pretty big orc army and they just killed it, right? So that sort of stuff happens a lot. We didn't play against any graveyard decks. Oh wait, we did, didn't we? Did we play against? Yeah. So these Grafdigger's Cages came in there. Surgical came in there. Null Rod was good. We never drew Serenity, but I think it is good, and it is a good like. You want to talk about card advantage? We don't really have any card draw engines or anything like that. We have Frog and we have Tamiyo, and they're kind of card draw engines, but they're nothing like Beanstalk or like Planeswalkers that just draw crazy cards like Jason and stuff. I don't know what other observations I have, but I will show you the blue-black tempo that I think is the best. So, you know, I could definitely play this. It's just not my play style. Like, I don't like putting another Nethergoyf on the table and just praying that it's going to get there while my opponent does all their stuff and probably doesn't, like, they probably don't get there, but, you know, maybe they do, and we just sat there, like, attacking another Nethergoyf return. I like something a little bit more interactive. Now, I did try the versions of this list that don't play Goyf, and I think they're inferior. I think Goyf is a good card, especially when you're playing 3 Spell Bombs and you're playing a Thoughtseize or 2 Thoughtseizes. This has the second Thoughtseize in the sideboard in favor of playing Go for the Throat or a second Borrower, but you could drop the Borrower and you could play 2 Thoughtseize in the main and then just move the Borrower to the side. But different variants, I mean, it's like the most minor of sideboard decisions. But the mana base is basically locked here. I do like playing extra blue fetches and just playing one because blue is really important. Like, I guess it's less important in this, and you do want to be able to go to your basic swamp more often. So maybe you could swap out like this Flooded Strand for a Marshlands. And one thing I'll say is I learn a lot playing tempo. I feel like you learn more playing tempo than you learn playing control, because tempo, like, every decision matters so much more because you're on like a knife's edge the whole time. With control decks, a lot of times they'll have like a Nadu, or they'll have something that like just completely runs away with the game. And so that can mask a lot of the mistakes you made because, oh yeah, I just drew like 20 cards with Beanstalk, right? But when you're playing tempo decks, like, you really don't have a way to win other than just using your wits and like playing with your objectively inferior cards. You know, like Daze is a very weak card, right? It's only when it's synergized with Wasteland that it's good. It's only when, you know, you've got pressure on the table and they have to cast cards into Daze. Because if you watch the video from yesterday that I published, I went through and there was a very exciting match, at least exciting from my side. I think it was probably very boring from Harmony Wood's side, but I played against him, and basically, like, it was just 2 very long games where we were like tiptoeing around one another with Bowmasters and stuff, and it was very exciting. But like, I never ever cast a spell into Daze. Like, for all I know, they had Daze in their hand the entire time, and it just never found a home because I never once over the course of like 15 turns or something expose myself to Daze. And you have that luxury if you can get your lands under you and you can play slow. But when they're beating you down with like Nethergoyfs and stuff like that, like, you don't have that option anymore, and you have to cast spells into Daze and hope that they don't have the Daze. And that's where Daze becomes really powerful, right? So I'll leave my lecture, everything like that, but I do encourage you, if you're new to MTG, if you're new to Magic, like, play tempo. If you want to learn quickly, play tempo. It's easy to delude yourself into thinking you're really good when you're playing, you know, a combo deck. It's easy to delude yourself into thinking you're really good when you're playing a control deck. But it is painfully apparent that you suck when you start losing repeatedly with tempo. And the first time I played Delver about 1.5 years ago, I'd never played it, and I always swore like, oh, that deck, like, that's just like boring. Like, okay, you know, I bolt you out, and like, but like, actually, it's incredibly intricate, and I think it's Magic at its best is tempo. So they're like, of course, people that are like, ban Daze. You know, you don't want to play Magic in a format where Daze is not legal because it's just going to be degenerate combo decks. Like, decks like this, blue-black tempo, keep the meta honest to the extent that it is kept honest. Like, right now, it's not. I do think that there are several cards that are over the line in the Eldrazi shell and in the blue-black Reanimator shell. And Frog probably should be banned. Like, I don't mind Frog being banned because then I'll just go back to playing straight blue-white. But if you look at this type of deck, you know, it's a tempo deck. It's just that we've got the upgraded removal, and you're taking an even greater risk. So this is even more on knife's edge than blue-black. You don't have Harbinger of the Seas to come and save you in the 12 post. Like, you just have to win through sticking threats and delaying them so they don't get to their end game. So I think this was a really exciting deck to play. I'm looking forward to playing some more leagues with it. I'll record those. I'll publish those. Just look for videos. I'm going to be at Eternal Weekend, so there will be like a weekend where there's no videos. But if you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. once I do, I can join the MTGO creator program, and I won't have to pay for cards so that I can try out all kinds of different decks. But I mean, realistically, like my bread and butter is the Force of Will Brainstorm decks. Like I just can't get excited about other decks. Like I just like the control aspect of being able to stop my crazy opponent that is like just glass cannoning or Brainstorm to fix my draws. Like I frequently play against people who don't play Brainstorm. They're like playing mono black Stompy or something. I was like, oh, another land. And I'm like, if you play Brainstorm, you could have a little bit more control over that. And they get so pissed when you say that because they're just like, no, Brainstorm's cheating, or whatever. But no, it's not cheating. It's like you have to reduce the variance. And Brainstorm and Ponder are excellent at reducing variance and ensuring that you don't play a lot of non-games. So until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.